The city of Kilgore has a plan to add more space to one of its historical parks. Tonight, the city council approved awarding a construction service to bid close to $300,000. The project will build a new parking lot at Kilgore City Park, adding 90 parking spots. The park has about 15 spots right now. It would be located where Gregg County Community Building was, where they demolished it last year. That was off of K Street.
Community building came down. That was one of the first things discussed was, we could use that. We could put a parking lot there. That'd help the park, that'd help the pool, that'd help the community.
Some of the parking spaces will be wider, accessible for food trucks and vendors for events. The city engineer says construction should be completed before the 4th of July. Residents from an official designated historic neighborhood in Kilgore also showed up to the council meeting tonight. They were concerned about a potential zoning change in the Meadowbrook neighborhood. A developer requested to turn a residential district to a commercial district. The proposed idea was to add a fitness gym on the property. Meadowbrook folks expressed their feelings at the meeting. Take a listen.
Approving this is just going to push more commercial further into our neighborhood. It has a direct impact on people that are in this room today.
Council did not take an action on the zoning change, keeping the property residential. One council member voted for the change, another voted against it. The rest did not vote. We'll be right back. Sports is next.